Precious Metal Summit 2015 today here in Zurich, our second day, and with me here is now Balmoral Resources, a company you really know very well from Commodity TV and Rohstoff TV already. And with me here is Darin, Wagner, the President and CEO, to give us a nice update. Darin, good morning.
Pleasure to be here, and thank you for having us back.
Yes, happy too for that. And yeah, you did quite well. Despite the market, the company is running exceptionally. You had some fantastic real results again, and I think it would be great to dive into Gresset first.
Sure.
So what happened the last months is there?
I think it has, the nickel discovery, the nickel copper PG discovery at Gresset has actually, probably safe to say, exceeded our expectations. Mm-hmm. This summer, we were able to extend it considerably to depth, and we continue to see the mineralized zone over widths of up to 100 meters across. And we've just come off our fall drill program, and those results should be out to the market in the next 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And we have pretty reasonable expectations for those. And so I think we've seen it become one of a very few large nickel sulfide bodies sitting in that space right now. And while the nickel space at the moment is beat up, we're not about to start mining it today. It's still got a timeline ahead of it before it's ready. Mm-hmm. And the hope would be then that it is ready when the nickel market is ready. Mm-hmm. And
what can you say about the nickel market? Because I saw a very interesting slide in your latest presentation. I really liked it.
Yeah, it has been, it has been amongst the metals that's been the heaviest beaten here. And right now, as we're sitting here today, you're probably looking at, 65-70% of the producers actually underwater. That is clearly an unsustainable position for nickel. So either some of that production comes offline and the price moves back up, or the price moves back up simply on supply and demand. I think we're starting to see some of that. If you look at the inventories in London on the nickel side, they're finally starting to fall. And there's really not a lot to enter into that pipeline in the near future. So we actually think the nickel market, and I think we're in consensus with the analysts out there, the nickel market is actually, of the base metal markets, probably the one that has the best chance to, give us some pluses outside of the work that we're doing in the months ahead here. So we're fairly bullish on what we see there. Mm-hmm. And it's easy to be bullish at the bottom because it really doesn't have a whole lot further. You've got 70% of the guys underwater. So we think our timing will be very good with the asset. Mm-hmm. Is that we will be delivering our first resource in January. Mm-hmm. We already delivered the met work, and that was stellar. We deliver that first resource in January, and we expect that to be into a bit of a rising tide in that market. That's really what you want to do. Yeah. It's fine to go and drill out an asset. At the bottom, we'd like to get more for it in the market every day, but ultimately, it's about when it's ready. And so we think our timing actually will be pretty good on that front.
Okay, super. Yeah, and also from the, let's say, the production perspective for the future, at least you need 2 more years or 3 years probably. Yeah. And I think nickel moves in 2016 into a slight deficit. In 2017, 18, the deficit is growing, right?
That's right.
So that's exactly your time frame.
That's the time, and that's that in a perfect world. That's how life plays itself out. And you do the work, you do the work in the quiet times, and you prosper in the good times. And I think that's kind of where we're sitting right now. So, and it is, we have a slide in the presentation we quite like where it shows a single asset sitting on a shelf. And that's kind of what the nickel space is. There are very, very few quality nickel assets, even fewer near good infrastructure in a place like Quebec that are wholly owned by a junior, no royalties, yada, 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 yada. Yeah. It's all a very good scenario for the company as we move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move from nickel to gold. Yes. Yes, the Martiniere Gold Project, the Buck Lake Zone.
Our baby,
Exactly, your baby, I know that. So what have you achieved this year?
I think we went into 2015 with the purpose of getting the shallow part of the zone drilled out. And it's not a small zone. I mean, we're talking about 1,200 meters of strike length here, so that is a fair bit of drilling in a not so great market. So we've taken a patient approach with it, and we now have the northern half of the zone drilled out down to about 250 vertical meters. We've intersected it down to 400, and I think it was only 8.5 grams over 14 meters down there. So it's still strong at the deepest levels. So the mission for the early part of 2016, the winter program, is to get the southern portion of that zone drilled out, and that would put us in a position to deliver a resource from basically surface down to about 250 vertical, which will across that entire strike length of the zone, and then have the next, begin the work on the next tier, I guess, down, if you will. I mean, the lovely thing in the Abitibi is typically these things are maybe 3 times deeper than they are long. We'll hope. But it's continued to perform. It's continued to deliver good grades. The met work, the first metallurgical work on it, should be out to the market towards the end of November, early December. And, that'll set a tone. That'll give us better parameters to start plugging in some numbers into the economic equation. But we've had a fair bit of interest in the project coming out of the meetings in September. We've had a fair bit of interest in the project. It's one of a few high-grade gold assets, and I think that's where the gold market's at. You're looking for grade.
And you need high grade at those prices.
And you need high grade at these prices. You just are not going to get by with low grade assets, and we're seeing that with the producers that are struggling are dominantly the ones with lower grade assets.
Yeah, fantastic. So, I think what also expresses the quality of you and your team, of course, that's on the one hand, but also the quality of the whole company is the last financing, because you finance with premium also in this market. That's really crazy. You have 10 million in the bank now to fulfill everything, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, we've been able to consistently stay well-financed and to be able to do these financings well in front of the market. So there's a healthy demand for what we're doing. And, it keeps us in a very strong financial position. So we just can focus on, building the assets, getting the scenario built out so that both the gold on the gold side and the nickel side, those assets continue to grow, and they arc into what we'll all hope is rising markets in 2016. And I think that's a great place for us to be. We don't have to fuss the day-to-day. We're not looking over our shoulder to see if someone's coming or we're going to run out of money. We're in a strong position, and that's let us continue to deliver news, which makes for chats like this being much more pleasant
and much more easy.
Yes, exactly.
Great. So there's a big news flow is coming in the next weeks and months also.
Yeah,
we can look forward on that.
Absolutely, you get news from Grisette in the next couple of weeks. You've got the metallurgy from Bug Lake. We've got a few exploration things that we're going to start talking about. Drill program again firing up in January. We might have a couple other things in there for you in the meantime. And that's typical. We do like to fill up inboxes. That's kind of what we do.
Super. Darin, thank you very much for that, and we look forward to see good news then.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Darin Wagner, the President and CEO of Balmoral Resources. And always as active as we know him, and big news flow is coming up, metallurgical results, drill results, and the next months are pretty busy, and stay tuned, check the company. Thanks and bye-bye from Zurich.